What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at it again with another video. So we got to talk about what happened on this episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Not gonna lie to you, it was gonna be a tough task for SmackDown to, I guess you can say, overcome the greatness that was of Monday Night Raw this week. Monday Night Raw was fantastic. They had a tall order to be able to be somewhat better, but overall, it was still a great show. I don't think it was better than Monday Night Raw, but I don't think it needed to. I think they needed to progress things that just as well as they did on Monday Night Raw. Not in my opinion, I think they did. I think it's just there's a lot more investment in what happened on Monday Night Raw as a whole. And this one, even though we didn't see Roman Reigns, I think probably maybe Roman Reigns being on the show would have made things a lot more better over for the overall presentation, but it was still a good show, and they put on a good showing. So it wasn't better than Monday Night Raw, but it was still a solid show nonetheless. So they did their recap of what happened at Survivor Series, and I didn't know this. I knew that Bronson Reed ended up getting hurt, and they showed the replay of his ankle pretty much breaking on impact when he jumped from the top of the cage and away. He ended up landing feet first, and his ankle just completely gave out. It looked pretty brutal. So he has a broken ankle, and he's gonna be out. He's gonna be out for a while, which really does suck because Bronson Reed had so much momentum going into that match. So this really does suck, and hopefully he has a speedy recovery. Also, Tonga Loa ended up tearing some type of muscle. He ended up getting injured, and I believe he's already underwent surgery. So now he's out. I didn't know that. And then I did know about the Jimmy getting hurt. They showed exactly where he ended up breaking his toe off the cells, being at the top of the War Games cell structure. He ended up breaking his toe on landing. So, 3 individuals were injured in the War Games match. I did not know Tonga Loa was actually hurt like that. So wishing them all a speedy recovery just shows how dangerous that match is, and they only have it once a year. So wishing them a speedy recovery, but they did talk about that. And then you see the Bloodline entering the arena, but before they were getting, inside the arena, they had to go through a metal detector, a checkpoint. So Apollo Crews is there, checking his bags in, getting ready to head straight to catering, getting paid to, go to catering. It's not a bad job, but he's trying to check in his bags, and they end up shoving him. He's like, hey man, like, I believe it was a Solo that ends up like shoving him. He's like, hey man. And then that's when Jacob Fatu decides to kick him in the face. And they just started beating up Apollo Crews. Tama Tonga started beating up some JAG security. They just beating up people that's just doing their job, bro. Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu, and Solo. Even though it's only 3 of them, those are the 3 intense people that you need. And honestly, they still look pretty formidable. I mean, you got Jacob Fatu on your side, Tama Tonga. He be all over the place, so he's unhinged. And then Solo's he has his moments where he's unhinged too. So everybody that was at the check-in area, they just got packed up. So it's unfortunate, man. Apollo Crews was just trying to get his food and be the first in the catering line, and got packed up for his trouble. So you can kind of tell that this Bloodline, they were irritated, they were upset, so they were gonna show any and everyone that got in their way, even if they weren't in their way, what's up. They were gonna show their brutality, and that wasn't the only time that happened. They started off the show with Cody, pretty much talking about Saturday night main event and how he's excited and looking forward to it. It's going to be some legends there and stuff like that. And then, he's also talking about that, he's looking forward to facing Kevin Owens. And that's when Chad Gable comes out. You were trying to figure out what's going on. And apparently Chad Gable was talking to Nick Aldis in some type of transfer. So now they're doing some portal transfer where people will be bouncing between NXT, Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown the brand split legitimately means absolutely nothing. We know that now, but since Monday Night Raw is going to Netflix, there's going to be some transfers, and you might as well just have it just only by name at this point, because it doesn't matter. People can just go to any show anyway. So, but apparently that's the fancy word of them saying now, they were looking for potentially being on SmackDown in a portal transfer or whatever the case that may be. But Chad comes out there with the rest of his American Made family, and he's talking to Cody like, man, I used to look up to you. Like, I used to want to be like you. You're a workhorse champion, and, you look the part and everything. But then I started to realize you're a bad friend. Kevin Owens is right. You're a bad friend. You sat up there and you know how how Roman Reigns was actively trying to end Kevin Owens' career, and you sat up there and helped him. I would never do such a thing. And he started talking about how Otis was a bad friend when he was down and out. And I like the parallels there, because he's literally being a hypocrite, because the same thing that he's talking about with Cody is the exact same thing that he's doing. That's the exact same thing he did with Otis and Tozawa and his other people that he was aligned with in Alpha Academy. He was treating them bad. He turned on them. So I like, the heel being a hypocrite in this sense when it comes to Cody. And Cody fired back. He's like, that's very interesting, man. We are similar, Didn't you used to be Shorty G? And that was a nice little callback. He's like, yeah, didn't you used to be Shorty G? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you used to be Shorty G. And I used to be Stardust. And there was a Stardust chant, and one guy in the front row was like, cut that out. But I like that he brought that up. He's like, we literally came from Shorty G and Stardust to what we are now. And he made a very great point to Chad. He was like, look, what happens if you fail again? Because I had to look myself in the mirror at WrestleMania 39 when I failed and I couldn't beat Roman. But what happens if you fail again? What are you going to do then? Are you going to blame it on your new teammates now? Are you going to blame it on the Creed brothers? Are you going to blame it on Ivy now? Are you going to talk bad to them like you did your other friends? Is that what you're going to do? That's because that's what you did before. So what are you going to do when you lose again? Obviously, Chad wasn't having it. And Chad was like, man, if I didn't have my suit on or whatever, I'd kick your ass. And Cody said, you know what? Hey, while you back there talking to Nick Aldis, I need you to go ahead and pretty much tell him, hey, we're going to have a match, lace up your boots, and we going to go from there. Want me and you tonight one-on-one. And just want to let you know, I'm going to have Kevin on my mind, so it's not going to be good for you, which lets me know that my boy is still got that hatred for Kevin, and I love it. So that was going to be the main event. Cody Rhodes versus Chad Gable. Very interesting, and it may be a thing that Chad Gable and American Made will be on SmackDown. So we'll see how that plays out in the weeks going forward. Next, we got to talk about Shinsuke coming out there as the new United States champion. Shinsuke comes out there, looking all menacing like a Sith Lord, and he's now your new United States champion. But before we are able to even get to what he was going to say, LA Knight music hit. LA Knight comes out there and he basically said, man, you've attacked me from behind. You can't win clean, because Shinsuke did poke my man in the eye. You know what I'm saying? So he did somewhat cheat. It wasn't the cleanest of wins. But he's like, all you can do is attack me from behind. But that's okay, because you know what? I'm coming to you face to face. Say, I want my rematch and I want it tonight. He gets in the ring. He's like, look, I'm about to, I'm going to stomp you out. I just want you to know. what's about to happen. But before that happens, I'm going to put my mist blockers on. He had the LA Knight shades because he had to come in there prepared in case Shinsuke sprayed him with the mist. He had his mist blockers on. He was ready to go to war. That's when Andrade comes out there. Now, obviously, Andrade has some issues with Shinsuke because Andrade ended up getting cheated because Shinsuke removed the turnbuckle and Andrade ran right into it. So, he has his gripes with him as well. And then before, Andrade can really get into what's going on and LA Knight trying to hey man, wait your turn. Once I get the title back from him, we can have and then he got cut off because Andrade ends up getting attacked. LA Knight's like, what the? And guess who attacks them? The Bloodline in Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa in the ring, just attacking the baby faces. And you see that Shinsuke had the mist just oozing out of his mouth. So he was ready. He was prepared. But Solo told him to stop. He stopped Jacob. He stopped Tama Tonga. And pretty much they let Shinsuke skirt back and scurry and move back into the darkness with his United States Championship. And then they proceed to attack Andrade and LA Knight. LA Knight tried to get some offense in, but the numbers game was too much, and he ended up eating a Samoan spike for his troubles. And at this point, I'm trying to figure out, what did they do to deserve this heinous act? They did nothing wrong. They were just trying to right the wrongs with Shinsuke and got packed up for it. Well, basically, the Bloodline's just not in a good mood. Solo's like, man, everybody out here thinking we weak now because we lost a couple of our members, but nah, we're still as strong as ever. Everyone think this is a joke. Everyone thinks this is a game. No, we still run this. We still are the Bloodline, and y'all will acknowledge us and respect us and fear us. That's basically what this promo was. It was good to see Solo fired up. And he said, if anyone has a problem in the back, hey, at the end of the day, you're going to have to acknowledge us. And Jacob put the Ula Follow on him, so he still has the Ula Follow. So they may set up a 1v1 at some point with Roman versus Solo for the Ula Follow. So we'll see. But that is pretty much the trajectory that they're on right now. That the Bloodline, even though they don't have everybody, they are still deadly. They are still dangerous. And once again, if you got Jacob Fatu, you're pretty much set. And if you got Tama Tonga, who's fucking insane in his own right, it works. Those two guys alone with Solo, you got a good little squad there. They can do some damage. Tonga Loa, even though everyone loved him some Tonga Loa, he wasn't the mean person in the group. He was more of just the added number. With Jacob and Tama Tonga and Solo, I think they will be okay. So I don't know if next week they going on another crash out spree, but anyone on the main roster, if you just existing, just beware, because you may end up getting attacked by the new Bloodline. So there was earlier in the show, they did show the Street Profits walking in, getting ready for their match against the Motor City Machine Guns for the tag team titles. But later on in the show, they ended up getting attacked. We don't know who it was, but we can kind of speculate, because then all of a sudden, Johnny Gargano is asking Nick Aldis, can they have the title opportunity shot against Motor City Machine Guns? And he reluctantly agrees to do it. So what they were doing here is setting this up so well, where it looked like Johnny was trying to do everything the right way, but Tommaso Ciampa wasn't. So when we get to the match, you can see how Johnny's out here trying to give the crowd high fives. Tommaso Ciampa's not doing that. Tommaso Ciampa starts off the match. He's being really aggressive, and he wants, Johnny, when he tags in, to get a free shot in, but Johnny's not doing it. And they're having this back and forth. They're arguing, and it's causing issues. At one point, Tommaso Ciampa ends up accidentally giving Johnny Gargano a boot to the face. And you can see their problems and issues within the ring. And the Motor City Machine Guns, they're just moving like a well-oiled machine, hitting combo tag team moves on Tommaso. Like, it looked like they were going to retain, but it was all a damn ruse, because at one point, Tommaso's pushing Johnny and Johnny pushes him back. He finally had enough of it. And he's like, I'm done with this. I don't need you. I'm good. So Tommaso goes to the ringside area, the timekeeper's area. It looks like he ends up getting a chair. Looks like he's about to bring it into the ring. The referee's trying to stop Tommaso Ciampa, and that's when you see Johnny Gargano hit the low blow, and the ref didn't see it. And then that's when things started to come together. And as Johnny goes back to the corner where Tommaso is, he gives a little shrug, a evil little smirk. He tags him in. They go for the meet in the middle. Pause. It sounds wild when you say that. But they go for their tag team finishing move. And they become the new tag team champions. It was all part of the plan. It was all part of the plan to make it seem like they weren't on the same page when they really were the entire time. This was so good. Love this heel turn. And it's safe to say, most likely, they are the ones that attacked the Street Profits. So hopefully we do get a feud with them. This was great. I love this. Love them being heels now. Let's see what type of momentum they give them. But this was great. I love it. This was fantastic. Great way to turn them heel that way. It was really just, I guess you could say it was one of those things where Johnny was, contemplating, but they finally got on the same page. Tommaso Ciampa was healed through and through, but now they devised a plan to make it seem like there was some dissension when there really wasn't. Glad they are the tag team champions. Can't wait to see them and the Street Profits and the Motor City Machine Guns maybe have some type of triple threat match. They're going to be all clashing with each other for the tag team title, so I am okay with that. Next, we got to talk about the Kevin Owens and Michael Cole segment. Now, Kevin Owens and Michael Cole were supposed to have a backstage interview style segment in the arena, but Kevin Owens went on Twitter and said, no, I don't want to. Every time I try to come to the arena, they tell me I'm not wanted. So now y'all want me to come to the arena so I can talk to Michael Cole? No. If Michael Cole wants to talk to me, he got to come outside to my car. So Michael Cole goes out there in 20-degree weather to Kevin Owens' rental car so they can talk. And this was really, really good. It was funny, but it was good at the same time because you can understand why Kevin Owens feels the way he feels because it's justified. He made it very clear. He even said, Michael Cole, I don't get how you don't understand that I'm right. I don't understand that. Considering you called the matches where Roman Reigns tried to end my career. And he started going off. He even said, Michael Cole at one point was like, yeah, I wanted to give my unbiased interview, inside the building where it's warming. And Kevin Owens like, unbiased? What are you talking about, unbiased? You and Cody Rhodes are best pals. Cody loves you. That's your favorite guy. What are you talking about, unbiased? And that's when Michael Cole's like, bro, we've talked to each other for years. Like, we've been cool with each other for years. Like, since your NXT days, I've been your biggest fan until recently. And I like Kevin Owens' response. If I would have known all of this, I would have never talked to you. I don't give a damn about none of that. At the end of the day, he sat up there and stabbed me in the back. You don't have any friends, Michael Cole, so you don't know what it's like to have someone stab you in the back. He even mentioned the fact that he had to leave WWE. He had to leave because he wasn't liking his creative direction. I stayed. He had to leave. And now everyone's bending at the knee to Cody Rhodes now. This was so good. It was entertaining. He was crashing out, but he had a viable reason on why he was crashing out. And as Michael Cole was trying to, bring up, hey, there was other people involved. Jimmy, Jay was involved. Sammy was involved. And I love his response to those situations. Like, they all helped Roman. He was like, Jimmy and Jay, I get it. They're family. If they want to be Roman's lackeys, that's fine. I understand that. Whatever. Now, Sammy, though, I will deal with Sammy later. Right now, I'm focused on Cody Rhodes, and I was like, yes, it's happening. It's gonna happen. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. Hopefully at WrestleMania or closer to it. He is going to have an issue with Sami Zayn helping the Bloodline. This is gonna be so good because the story there is already written. These are the guys that stopped. They ended the Usos tag team title reign. They ended it at WrestleMania 39. They main evented it only for him to go help them again. Oh, so fucking good. I know people said we've seen this before. I don't give a damn. The story's so good. Run it fucking back again. So I like that they mentioned that. We are going to get that next at some point. Don't know when, but that is going to be the next big story. The next big crash out for KO is, going at Sammy. Like, why the fuck would you help them? But ultimately, Kevin Owens was done with Michael Cole in the car. He's like, get out. And as he got out, he told Michael Cole, hey, Michael Cole, one more thing. And then just rolled up the window. I was like, all right, Kevin Owens is great. So we get the main event, Chad Gable versus Cody Rhodes. And I like the fact that Chad Gable had a pretty good showing against Cody Rhodes in the sense of what he was doing, and the body part that he was attacking was Cody's ankle, and that was going to be to his advantage. So Cody, halfway through the match, or the remainder of the match after the first commercial break, had to fight from underneath to really gain his footing, no pun intended, to gain some sort of advantage. And every time towards the last few minutes of the match, when Cody was about to hit the crossroads, it kept getting countered. It kept getting countered into a ankle lock. I mean, Chad Gable even took off Cody's wrestling boot, to put more pressure on his exposed ankle. But ultimately, it ended up being a situation where Chad Gable goes to the top rope to essentially hit his moonsault off the top rope, but Cody ends up moving out the way. He ends up catching him into the crossroads, and man, Chad Gable sells the hell out of that crossroads, boy, because he sold the hell out of that. Planted himself right on the top of his head with the crossroads for the 1, the 2, and the 3. The match was done, and I knew KO was going to come back, and that's exactly what happened. As Cody is vulnerable, he's checking on his ankle. That's when Kevin Owens comes in there. He's smirking and he starts stepping on his ankle. Security and officials come out there. But guess what? Cody ain't no bitch, and they start fighting. They have to pull them apart. They start brawling at each other in the ring. Kevin Owens gets dragged out the ring, and that's when Cody dives through the ropes into the barricades, and they start brawling right in front of the people. This is what I love to see. They're scratching and clawing at each other. The hatred. My man has on one wrestling boot, and he's out there trying to gouge out Kevin Owens' eyes. Love it. The hate. The crash out, you love to see it, man. This was fun way to end off the show. I am really looking forward to their match at Saturday night main event. It's going to be fun and hard hitting, so I can't wait to see that. But comment down below, let me know what was your favorite part of this episode of SmackDown, and are you guys looking forward to how things are gonna play out when Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes finally get into the ring with each other at Saturday night main event. But I appreciate all love, support y'all showing on the channel. Road to 150K. Appreciate y'all kicking with me. See y'all next one. Peace.